With this criteria, I would understand.
Curt was born along the river in Winona. After his education dedicated to law enforcement, his career took him to the Austin Police Department, an organization he was a part of for 23 years. That is until he was accused of and eventually found guilty of removing OxyContin from the department's evidence room. They were pills belonging to his good friend and former TV reporter Mark Johnson, who died of a drug overdose in early 2007. The police captain took the prescription the same day he was elected to Austin's school board. He would be the first member voted off a board in the state and eventually would file a defamation lawsuit against the district and former Superintendent Candace Raskin that would be thrown out for being served incorrectly. The nearly 3 years of Curt headlines would be filled with courtroom drama, lawsuits, and rumors. And after we contacted Rood, he let us know he's got a little bit more to say. Beyond the headlines, here's the rest of the story. How much of a roller coaster ride has the last now 3 years been?
It's certainly been a roller coaster ride of lows of unbeliefs, like going, this is the system I served, and this is just surreal, this is unreal, this is surreal that I'm being held to task here.
How did you feel when the verdict was read?
Shock and awe. I was like, blank. You don't expect anything like that to come down on your life. And then I remember I just turned and looked at my lawyer and I said, am I guilty?
Do you feel betrayed by Paul Phillip?
I feel that I'd worked close with him as a colleague and felt that some trust was warranted. And then if we could have just put time on our side and exercise some prudence through this thing, yeah, it wouldn't have had to play out like this.
Why did you take the pills out of the evidence room?
I seen it and I thought, you know, after this, it's all over for you, Mark. You're a wasted life in the cemetery. You're much too good of a person to have had this happen with your life experiences. I just didn't want, I guess I just didn't want that piece, you know, to end without some good coming out of it.
Rood says even though his attorney strongly recommended a plea deal, it wasn't for him.
I didn't quit. I had to fight this good fight because to live my life down the road, if I fought these things and these decisions were made outside of my control, I'm not ever going to have to go into that what-if thinking.
How do you feel when you see headlines that say, disgraced Austin police captain charged with felony?
It's fair. It's a fair way to approach this thing because you have to have interesting stories. You have to have these big, you know, hook words and that sort of thing. Do I feel disgraced? No. I fought the good fight. Would I fight the fight the way, you know, in hindsight, the way I did? No, I could have learned some pieces, you know, to avoided this whole thing.
Rood says that in perspective, everything he's gone through hasn't been that big of a deal.
It was an unfortunate event, but it wasn't the calamity that some people have had to overcome.
Rood says he filed his defamation lawsuit against the school district 2 years after the original allegations happened because the statute of limitations was almost up, and area educators helped him file and fund his defense because he says they wanted to see accountability from Raskin. When it was thrown out, he was in disbelief.
Once again, just unbelievable.
You were the first school board member kicked off of a board in the state of Minnesota.
And I was. I didn't run for my needs. I didn't, you know, I didn't say, well, this is about Curt Rood and how can I look the best I possibly can. A lot of good came out of this in terms of the realization, you know, of how important my family is to me, and friends I didn't even, you know I had out there. Cards received from Mason City, from rural roads down in Iowa.